I didn't really. I mean, I've been watching. I just haven't really been absorbing much.
Yeah.
I just because my days are just it just goes by so fast. Uh, and of course, I mean, the only thing that's really stood out, I mean, is Firefly Funhouse on SmackDown. Uh, that just made me forget everything. It felt like 5 days after Money in the Bank. It's been like a month. But
I hear you, man. I didn't watch SmackDown or Raw. Like I guess I'm boycotting. I don't know what's going on, but I'm kind of like I don't feel like there's a whole lot of interesting things going on. And after the Money in the Bank, I got really disheartened watching that Viking Raiders
right,
match. That was like I didn't even like. It took me a second. Like it's like one of those things. It's like something happens to you, like you get hurt, and
oh,
then you don't know what happened for like a second. Like you got smacked in the face and you sitting there going And then
exactly,
once I
exactly.
processed it, dude, I lost my mind. I'm like, did did WWE put that out? Did that like was that like it is so out of fucking touch. It was
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. I mean, at least with like all the other theatrical matches, something came from it. There was talk about it. Nobody was talking about that match at all. So I do have to say I did not watch the Monday Night Raw after Backlash or wait, no, what was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, the greatest match ever. But I did not watch that Monday Night Raw, and this last Monday Night Raw definitely worth the watch. It did consist of 4 title defenses, which was nice to actually see title defenses on Monday night. Um, and there was actually a match between um, Viking Raiders and I don't know why I always forget the
The
name.
Street Profits.
Yeah, Street Profits. Yeah, there was actually a match and it was actually decent. So that's all I really wanted. So it was kind of like it was a little redemption.
It's like
Um,
let's just skip over the traumatic
yeah,
part.
and I mean, based on the results, and I mean, uh, it's moving forward, the storyline. So there's there was a finish, so that's good.
Well, I was kind of like really just pooped out after that, man. I was like, but the Orton Edge and Orton match was great. Um, and I heard that it was edited, and I wasn't able to notice where the edits were. And I just remember when we were watching it, we were quiet a lot throughout, like the match, and just kind of like, oh, maybe we should say something. So it was a good match, man. Like I think that
Yeah,
was a breath of fresh air to watch.
and that pay per view itself. I mean, just right from the get go, for the first match. I mean, I don't know the order of matches, but it was right before it even started, I was like, well, this really isn't that great of a card. Um, but they had plenty of surprises. So, I mean, Sheamus winning. Um,
Yeah, that was something.
I
Um,
mean, that stood out for me, which is
that was the only one you got wrong.
yeah,
Yeah.
cost me. It cost me. We still have to figure out. Oh yeah, that's right. I do. I already have my punishment. I forgot. I got to freshen up on my lyrics.
No,
Um,
you have to pull up karaoke, man.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
what?
just
So
thought it was a pay per view than I had expected, and that Orton Edge match was obviously way better than Iron Man match. Um, it might have been just as long, but I think having just the actual
much
wrestling
better match.
made a difference. I mean, was the WrestleMania match, was that considered an Iron Man match, or was that just
That was Uh,
Titles, I can't remember.
I don't remember. Like it was like Falls Count Anywhere. It was a street fight.
Okay, maybe it was just maybe because like I was thinking maybe because an Iron Man match it would actually be wrestling, but yeah, no,
Yeah, Iron Man match would like I don't know. Maybe they'll have no Falls Count
yeah,
Anywhere Iron Man match.
so it's going
But it's like
forward.
every time you say Iron Man match, Big D, I'm thinking Brett and Sean.
Exactly.
And like I remember sitting throughout that whole match not wanting to end because it was just they just kept going and going and going, and it ended with a draw. Like nobody won
Yep.
after an hour.
Yeah, that's just that's unheard of. Like
It was beautiful.
that's like that's like the awkward moment of where no one wins. You know, no
Well,
one wants. But if you can perfect it, if you can perfect that awkward moment.
if there's one thing I'm learning with all these shows after coronavirus is that the audience is a key member of the match, man. It's just there's no way, and like maybe if people listen to this, they're like, well, duh, but I'm like, really, like after you watch all of this, you just realize that it's like, okay, there's a component there that's just missing,
Yep.
and I think Edge and Randy Orton would be a like if like just think like a full on like WrestleMania type of audience. Holy crap, man,
Right.
that
Right.
thing would
It's
be.
like what would a lot of these matches be if there was?
So I have to
Uh,
cut him some slack, but I'm on one hand I'm not either like, but I'm also realizing now like so I was listening to all the news what was happening in the coronavirus and how many wrestlers were tested and how many well I don't know how many wrestlers were actually positive, but the big news is Renee Young was
yeah.
positive and then Moxley. Dean Ambrose. I don't know what his real name is. One of those.
Yeah. Yep. Moxley.
But yeah, but that's just the like um that's just starting, man. And I'm thinking like, has the end of wrestling been starting? And it's like we're just kind of getting not necessarily the end of wrestling, but just this gigantic shakeup
Right.
of how wrestling is going to be done. And it's like now it's not just a competition between like AEW and WWE. Now it's like a competition on how much talent you're going to keep safe and
Mhm.
healthy because that's what's going to determine what kind of show
Right.
you put up.
Right.
So that's
Um,
been like it sounds like WWE was sort of negligent when
yeah.
it came to testing.
Which I mean, is that surprising? Not really, because you even go back to the steroid era of where they juicing it. Oh no, we don't. There's no steroids allowed. And that's bullshit. Um,
I
but
mean, how do you well, what's your
once
thing
the
as a
shit
fan?
just hits the fan, that's kind of like when just like anybody else, once the shit hits the fan, they're like, oh shoot, we gotta save our asses. And all right, we're all good. There's the paperwork. Here's all the testings. And now all of a sudden, now we're going to possibly have, who knows, 18, 20 people now that have been around this whole time. Now they're going to be,
They're spreading
now
it
they're,
everywhere.
now they're going to have Corona. And yeah, but I will see. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of scared. I'm like, is this? Are we gonna start watching reruns? Are they gonna start publishing like putting up like like Attitude Era reruns and shit? I mean
Right,
that would seem like it would draw more.
right, right. Yeah. I mean, they are consistently showing more
Oh no.
past pay-per-views on Fox, like Fox Sports or whatever. I don't know what they just showed. WrestleMania 8, I think I don't remember. But
What do you mean?
Just as far as showing old wrestling, like just older like pay-per-views, it's actually being on cable more. Um, Whereas, I mean, I don't know if that's why they're doing like a free version of the network because of their deal with Fox, and Fox is airing older every weekend. I guess they air a different pay-per-view.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't have cable, so that's my problem. I
yeah.
try to watch on
Do
Hulu,
I?
but I want like distilled versions of things, because like I mean, 3 hours of Raw just gets testy.
Right. I forget that it is on Hulu, and it's like super condensed. Uh, yeah.
It's a
So,
lot better when it's condensed, I tell you, for
right.
sure. Like I think they probably have better ratings if they had 2 hours, but they don't even like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent. Like I don't even know how much talent there is on the roster now at this point, but whatever.
Right. Well, we were talking about that months ago about the size of their roster and
Yeah.
if it was good or not. And obviously, I mean, it's immensely important. Otherwise, they wouldn't have as many people on there. I mean, you're still getting at that one point, we are still getting pretty much the same matches every single week um, because of it. But now, obviously, now it's getting less, or at least this moment, they're getting more and more people back, um, which always helps.
Oh man, what do you do? What are you thinking about this whole coronavirus and wrestling? Do you feel like WWE is like they've really like risked it? They've changed it a little too much, and now it's like because you still have to wait. You have to wait for the like the test. It's like they come back a week later. No.
I mean, I guess it really depends. I mean, I know at least when I got tested, it took almost 3 days to get the results back. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how long. Um, I don't know. It's I mean, obviously, yeah, they should have been doing this the whole time. Effective in the long run, I don't know if they. I mean, I think or how they've handled it so far. I think as bad as it sounded, I think it was kind of like the best approach they could have taken. At least I think. I don't know. It's tough to say because no one else has really handled it that much different and that much better. Um, Even AEW. I mean, they were a little bit different. I think I'm pretty sure they handled things a little bit different because they were a little bit ahead of the game as far as um, having
Testing and
like
masks.
having yeah, and like having that audience and social distancing. But I don't really see as far as business wise. I there's not really much difference. Um,
Well, is there something specific you wanted to talk about? Because we have some, the all the allegations against a whole bunch of
uh,
wrestlers.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't really. I got actually. I want to look into that more because when it was all happening all over the place, um, I was just like too. I was just I was all over the place myself. So I kind of want to actually look and see what this whole thing where it was like based, unless like where it was like stemmed from. I know people like Velveteen Dream. He had allegations months ago.
Yeah,
Now he's got even more. So many, NXT UK, so many names of just like I mean, just I don't know, just like where it's all coming from, and it's all just within the business.
yeah. like I'm not sure exactly. I was just reading that there was a lot of sexual allegations against a lot of
Yeah,
wrestlers. I was like, what the hell?
sexual harassments, physical abuse. There was a referee, I think, of sending pictures. Um, not to, I don't think it was like to underage. Like I don't think underage was involved at all, but just inappropriate pictures. So careful if you receive any texts from your referee friends. But yeah, no, it was just crazy. Like, and then obviously once you see them start deleting, like you start seeing them like or hearing them like deleting all their social media. Um, Usually it's not a great sign. But perhaps it's smart, so they don't have to because they are exposed. Even if they didn't do it or whatever, the exposure still isn't good for their livelihood.
No, man, that like it's yeah. If it's false accusation, you're in trouble because it's
Yep,
like freaking sexual
yep,
accusations. Like who's gonna hire you? Like that
yep.
does take somebody's livelihood. But then if it's a real sexual allegation too, it's like shit. It's shit on both ways, man. And it's like
Right.
the fact that
It's
it's
just
so
like,
many people at once. It's like what happened?
yeah, yep.
Like that doesn't that sounds a little weird to me. Like everybody at once. Like like we're just one speak up and then everybody jumped up and it was like, okay, we're all just gonna talk about it now.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have a list of the names, but there was
I don't have the list. I was trying to find it on my phone. I'm trying to
quite a
find the
few of
list.
them. I mean, I know like the former NXT Tag Team Champion, Devlin. I know he was one of them. There wasn't anybody too big where, say, if something were to happen and they were to, if they do end up getting fired or whatever, it really wouldn't affect their rosters too much per se. Velveteen Dream, he's obviously the biggest name, and like he's one of those guys where it's just like he's just like stuck, and then it's like this is just what's going on. Like, are we like visioning? Are we seeing his career? Have we already seen his peak because of he can't stay out of trouble and stuff?
Well, I'm reading an article right now and uh, it says there's a whole bunch of it's a like there's a hashtag for it. Hashtag speaking out.
Okay, yep,
Jack Gallagher
yep.
released.
That was a big name.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because he went through a whole character development and change and became more of a like, badass. And it's like, did the character was it like a Joker effect of like getting too much in character or something? I mean, obviously, probably not. I just envisioned like as he's going through his character, he just starts. Like, yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Big. I gotta ask you a question. Like, do you have like a fan blowing at your phone or something? Because I'm
I
hearing like
do
a
it.
lot of air.
A lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. There. How's that?
I can still hear some of it. It's not too bad now.
Okay.
Is it oscillating?
No.
No. Okay.
No. It's
No, it's
directly
not.
on.
I can't hear it now. But
Okay.
either way, like it was starting like you were in a tunnel or a wind tunnel or something.
Okay. Yeah. I had it on high. I can never tell if it picks it up or not. Um,
So they were just yeah, man, God, man. And it's like I was watching Matt Riddle. Like
mhm.
I was excited when he got promoted to SmackDown.
Yes. And he finally had a match.
Yeah.
Exciting. and
It was a good match.
it was. I like the feud. I do like the feud that's coming with that. I was surprised because they call him up, and it had been a good 3 weeks, maybe 3.5 weeks since the announcement, and they didn't do any promos for him or vignettes or anything except for I think maybe that was the week before, or it might have been even like Monday Night Raw, a commercial for this week's SmackDown or whatever. And yeah, so like he was out of the mind a little bit. So when he came out, I was like, okay, all right, that's right, Riddle's here, and yeah, that should be I'm excited for him and Styles. They should put on a really good feud. Um,
I like Matt Riddle, I guess, I like Matt Riddle, but I'm also reading that he too, that there's been allegations against him, but apparently, uh, they're like his lawyers talking that they have been aware, like of the last 2 years, like him and his wife or his
oh,
girlfriend
okay.
have been stalked by some chick
Oh, okay.
who's now, I guess, going after him for like. Like
Huh.
I hear something like where he threatened her for sex in 2018. You're like, do you really like need to threaten anyone for sex? Like, really? Like, is that? I don't know. It sounds strange to me. If I was a wrestler, I wouldn't be threatening anyone for sex. Like, what would you be threatening someone? Like, that doesn't. That sounds, yeah.
Right. No.
But I'm not. Yeah. I that was like the thing that I saw about Matt Riddle. I'm like, well, you don't want it to be um, you know,
Right.
like if it's happened, it's happened. But yeah, man, it's like what? It's like a mass lynching all of a sudden,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like it's just the one thing I got to say about that whole thing, and we can move on. Personally, for me, is um, if you're trying to get money out of it, you know, then you're kind of stifling the voices of the people who are really harassed, you know?
Right. Right.
And it's like ultimately, if there's too many people crying at once, it just kind of sounds like there's a lot of crying wolf.
Yep. Yep.
But that's not to dismiss that these things haven't happened. Um, I don't want to say that either, because I don't know. I don't know one way or another. So I'm just
Exactly.
posing both sides. It's like, hey, this could be a lynching thing, like, and then that may be a badly used word right now. Um, um, but it's like just the fact that it all happened at once. Like, I guess people felt like that they could, or women, I guess, felt that they could come together and
Oh
say
yeah.
this. Which if there's smoke, there's fire for sure.
Yep. Yep.
Um, it's just a lot
Just
of
like they were
people,
doing with
man.
all the
Oh,
celebrities a
it's a
couple
lot
years
of
ago.
wrestlers.
Bill Cosby and all them, like that, all those allegations and all that stuff just happened, and just like it just all came out all at once. And I
Well,
mean, that's
that
how
was creepy, wasn't it? Like, I watched Bill Cosby.
I know.
He was like a father figure. And all of a sudden, all of these specials turned different. It's like,
Yes.
oh, shit. Like, you feel like the innocence of the world is going away.
And this whole time throughout our lives, Mr. Rogers is still actually decent.
He's on the up and up. But I won't say that I haven't thought of Mr. Rogers, though. Like, when Bill Cosby, I'm like, Mr. Rogers, don't be Mr. Rogers.
Right. Right.
There's a good day in
Uh,
the neighborhood, right? Or something like that. I didn't really watch him too much, but I know he was a stand-up guy, so. But no,
yeah.
Mr. Rogers was through and through.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, I mean, once you're like in those teenagers, you kind of like, all right, this guy's gotta be creepy. There's got to be something up. But no, he's all right. And but yeah.
All
What
right.
was another here? Oh yeah, Monday night. I mean, we're kind of just jumping around, just different highlights that been going on. The new feud. So we got Extreme Rules coming up in a couple weeks. Drew McIntyre now has a new feud
Mr.
with the
Dolph Ziggler.
recently, since AJ Styles was traded to SmackDown. In return, Monday Night Raw received Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, which they were traded as a tag team, but Robert Roode's been out with an injury for a while now. I love this feud. I'm gonna like this feud a lot. I think Dolph Ziggler needed to be taken out of SmackDown from where he was at.
With Otis.
Yeah, it just didn't fit. I didn't really ever care for that feud, especially once it ended. Once he got Mandy, then it was like, okay, now it's Mandy and Sonya, no more. You don't need Dolph and Otis anymore. But with it actually having a history where when Drew McIntyre came up from NXT, he was Dolph Ziggler's bodyguard pretty much. He helped Dolph win all these matches. They end up becoming tag team champions. And then ultimately, I'm trying to think how they broke up. If they broke up by a turn or if it was the draft. But either way, there's that history and of Dolph Ziggler. You know, Drew McIntyre is where he's at because of Dolph Ziggler, which, no. But at least there's a storyline. At least there's a backbone. So I think this could be a nice kind of lengthy feud that McIntyre needs as a champion.
McIntyre's just in a bad fucking place, man. It's like
yeah.
He's the very first WrestleMania with no fans. He wins the championship. You know, here's this dude crying, but he couldn't let the people know because it was filmed before. So, and then all of a sudden he has to defend it against all these people. And I thought that Backlash match against Bobby Lashley, like, I like Bobby Lashley. I don't think Bobby Lashley even needs anyone to talk. Like, this is one thing that I just don't get it. Don't understand why WWE is so just set on these people that have to talk. And it's like, no, Bobby Lashley doesn't need to talk. Just look at Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
That's all he needs to say. And the fact that, like, he almost, like, when he first got after Drew McIntyre, really built up Bobby Lashley. Like, he built up his stock because he was kicking Drew McIntyre's ass, you know?
Right. Yep.
And then, but afterwards, like, Drew McIntyre's stock went down a little bit because Bobby Lashley was kicking his ass.
Uh-huh.
So, but either way, like, I wish that Bobby Lashley would be involved, like, in some squash matches, man.
Yeah, and he very well may. I mean, especially with this beeline right to McIntyre Ziggler. You know, where's Lashley going to go from here? I mean, obviously it's looking like it's going to be him and Apollo.
MVP. Oh yeah, Apollo Crews.
Yeah, just based off of Apollo Crews being the guest on the MVP's talk show there, the lounge or whatever. So it seems like that's where that feud, there's going to be a feud there, and then a couple title defenses possibly. I don't think. I think this is more to push. I think right now they're using Lashley as a uplifter, even though he's getting pushed as well. He's doing his job as a veteran, pushing these younger guys up. So I don't think he'll end up being a champion, but I think it's a good way to extend. And then you get the rumors of Lesnar, Lashley, which ultimately everybody would love, is waiting to see. So I think they're doing a good job right now. WWE is extending these feuds, making longer feuds to extend and do the periods of getting past all this and then having that huge crowd and get those ratings and start making their profits again as much as they used to. So I think they're setting up with good solid feuds to get there.
But you dig Ziggler and
I think it'd be good because there'll be actually someone that can actually. I mean, yes, he oversells, but they can actually have decent, longer matches. It doesn't have to be all, power versus power. Um, there can actually be some, devious little. McIntyre's going to lose a couple of times because Ziggler's going to cheat uh, and whatever. I mean, but and he's the best seller. It's kind of like maybe like a Diesel versus Michaels feud, which was fun to watch, and it probably didn't last that long, but it was still decent um, because of a history. Um, I like it. I mean, outside of Lashley, who would McIntyre feud with next? I don't know if there would be a solid answer to that besides continuing it with Lashley. But I think just this getting a new face, new energy with Ziggler, and then maybe a good, decent SummerSlam match or something. I mean, Ziggler, he's been around a while. He's been around a long time. He's always had good matches. Um, so I think he.
well, just look at his boots. I mean, he wears like Shawn Michaels boots.
Exactly. Um,
It's just I wish Ziggler was bigger. It's just because to me, like even with Otis, like Otis can just eat him up, like just beat the
right.
shit out of him. It just so I don't know how. Like I like that he's a heel, and I like that he cheats because that's what I see heels do, man. It's like you want heels to piss you off. You want to
Right.
see him kick. You want to see their asses kicked, man. And it's like
Yeah.
that's a lot of times that's what's missing to me from like just wrestling now. It's like you don't really have like I'm sitting there like I'm watching a lot of these things. Okay, maybe this is a good match, but like as far as like getting me pissed off, like for
Right.
instance, like Lana pisses me off.
Uh huh. Yes.
Doesn't that like but it's just because she's so annoying when she gets on there. Like she just like she doesn't need to be there. Like
Right.
all these matches where like she showed up for like just because that's like she wanted to keep her nose in the business, so she's playing that character really well. So
Hmm.
that's like I think she's sort of a heel right now. At least the way I see it.
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Because
And
you
yeah.
there's not a lot of people who can kick her ass. Like who would kick her ass? Not that they can.
Right. And then I mean, then that's also the fact that she can't wrestle, so you're not gonna have. I mean,
Yeah, it's
not
like
gonna have anybody kick her ass because that would initiate a feud, but she can't hold up a feud even with Natalie. I don't know, or Natalia. There we go. I mean, whatever. Yeah, Natalia is great, but I don't care for her. But but regardless, and that's why Lana is what she is. But she doesn't add anything to anything. She doesn't add positive, negative. It's all negative. It's just she doesn't add anything.
yeah,
So
I'm not outside of like appealing as like a good looking, but even that is subjective to me. Like at this point,
right, yeah,
I'm not sure if she like I don't know. Either way, moving on. Like, but yeah, she's a good heel. Like just like
yeah,
somebody annoys you. You don't want to see you really want to like okay they're annoying. I hope there's someone there like a girl will step up and kick her ass. Like that's great heel. So
yeah. And
Lana's doing her
they
job as a
they
heel.
had the great thing with Lana and Rusev,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
let go.
it was just perfect. Her snotty, pompous, super confident woman power character was great, and Rusev was great, and then obviously then Rusev starts to change, and when Lana changed, I was just like, it just wasn't. It wasn't. She's a heel. That's what she is. And when she became a face, Rusev could handle it and excel. She could not, which
Hmm.
then which then made, okay, we gotta make her a heel again. Go through this whole divorce. She ends up with Lashley, and now it's like she can't keep up with Lashley uh, in the direction that he's going. So now she's just nothing. So
Yeah, what happened to Rusev, man? Like he was pretty decent. Like
yeah,
I just remember him being a good wrestler.
he got released, and
Is
now
there
he's
is
not.
there, is there a specific reason, or they just couldn't use him?
It was just during all those releases that they had.
Yeah, out of all people, you release Rusev. Like, did he do
Yeah,
something like that we don't know about?
no, I mean,
Like,
I didn't hear
he was a good, strong, big guy. You know, like he could work.
exactly. He was a main eventer. I mean, in my eyes. But there's rumors that they're keeping hush on, that they've been actively talking with certain people that they've released. So, and
Like
one
Drake
big name,
Maverick.
yeah, that was just, yeah, they did that whole thing. That was just messed up. As both, again, we don't really know how much of it was messed up, but I think that whole storyline was messed up from the beginning, and then now he's gotten a contract, and I don't think he's wrestled since. It's been about 2 weeks.
He didn't.
But
Did he win the tournament?
he did not. He did not. Triple H came out and gave him the contract out of you know all that hard work and the love for the business.
Hmm.
Here's your contract, like, you know, love story tale or whatever ending. Uh,
That was
even though he lost, he still came out on top. Um,
that seemed a little opportunist.
yeah, yeah,
Either way, like no, I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he got it. You know.
yeah. I mean, it's just I'm glad they dragged it out long enough to kind of, for those who may have forgotten, right after the releases, all of a sudden, he's the only one that had a chance. Um, Maybe he wasn't really ever released, kind of thing.
Was it because he cried? Was that it?
Yeah, it was just like right away after like the next NXT, whatever. It, he just mentioned it, and like that was the only person that ever mentioned it on TV about any other releases. He was the only one, and this like kind of made it real phony. You see these people, telling what happened and expressing themselves on Instagram or Twitter. But yeah, Drake Maverick was the only one to do it on recorded TV programming. Um, so that just made it really like a slap in the face,
Hmm.
particularly of all these people are getting screwed and you're faking it, kind of thing. But they dragged the tournament long enough to kind of get it out of the mind of some people. But yeah, I mean, again, but then now there's thoughts of possibly they're uh, they're talking to these people that they did release, keeping it quiet if they're signing them. The biggest name right now is Rowan, being linked to Bray Wyatt um, because of SmackDown, um, where they're throughout pictures and mainly pictures. They show Rowan. They don't show Luke Harper. Obviously, Luke Harper's in happily in AEW, but they do show Rowan along with Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. So there is rumors that they have, or at least are going to re-sign Rowan, um, and with the pictures being shown, because they don't usually talk about or show pictures of anybody that isn't in the company. So I'm looking forward to hopefully that's true, and I can't
So
wait to have them.
what's happening with the Fiend now, man? What's like?
So this Friday was the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, I saw that. Finally.
Okay. Okay, finally. And now the cult leader, Bray Wyatt, is back.
What?
Yep. Because he's going back in the past. He created Braun Strowman. He has to destroy him, and the way to do that is to go all the way back to the beginning. And in the beginning was cult leader Bray. And he's got the little lantern and the hat and the colorful little shirt on. So now this is like the third face of Wyatt. And I love it. I was predicting that after WrestleMania with the rocking chair, because that just goes hand in hand with cult leader Bray. And then eventually, this feud is far from over. You're gonna get Extreme Rules. I'm sure you're gonna get Strowman versus cult leader. Will it be a win for Strowman? It might be, or it might be a draw. But I think ultimately at SummerSlam, you're going to see the Fiend versus Strowman. But I think at this next pay-per-view, maybe even SmackDown, there might be little glimpses, but perhaps the next pay-per-view, definitely seeing the Fiend, especially if Strowman wins or something. Who knows? But yeah, no, I'm super excited about that, and if they can bring back the Wyatt family in some way in the future, that'd be great.
Well, Strowman he's just touted as this, tough guy, the big tough guy that nobody can beat,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. There's something about his. He looks very baby face-ish. He
Yeah,
looks like a baby. He doesn't really. He's not like he scares people. But I don't know. Like there's something missing with him, and I'm not sure
once
what it is. And I haven't watched enough, but there's something missing with him.
once you put
And,
a smile on a face, like a smile on a body like that, um, you know, it's gonna be a face. He's not, but he's always slowly changing. He's getting more angry. He's getting fed up. He's getting annoyed. I really was hoping something would have led after the Street Profit Viking Raider match when they went through Strowman's windshield again.
yeah.
I was really hoping to have maybe Strowman just come out at the end of somewhere towards the end of the pay-per-view, seeing Strowman come out to his car and just going crazy and just getting that anger
Yeah,
more involved.
what would you even show that? What would you even do that if you're not going to do anything with that?
Right, right,
why even it just like, oh, we're just going to show that everybody's afraid of him.
right. I mean, that would have been great, having even Strowman react to that and then just get, they'll just totally obliterate the Street Profits and Viking Raiders. And then that's why there isn't a match, because Strowman just destroyed both tag teams.
I mean, it'd be funny if he just took the bill, he had the bill in his hand, he kicked their ass, and then just put the bill on one of them to pay for his windshield.
Right.
That would make sense. This way it was just kind of they just did it and left it up in the air. It was
Yep.
but there's a lot of little angles like that I've noticed. They're
Yep.
just start it up and don't go anywhere. And that's why I was afraid for the Fiend. I'm like, I know they're still, showing the Fiend. They're still, selling Fiend merchandise. I know he's there, but I was like, are they just gonna because they made him so powerful, the Fiend. So what's gonna happen when you have, you're trying to make Braun Strowman, you're trying to make him the tough guy, the toughest guy in the company, and then you have him fight the Fiend, who's he's like one of those slasher bad guys. He can't be defeated.
Yep. Yep.
One of them is gonna end up, I think Strowman is gonna end up losing.
I mean, it's just that I think it's just that we're not you're not used to seeing a character like that at all. You're not really. I mean, again, since Mankind, Undertaker, obviously Undertaker, Mankind, um,
Kane.
yeah, Kane, like these guys where again they don't need a title to be successful. They don't necessarily have to win because even if they lose, most likely if the winner of that fight usually comes out worse than themselves.
Well, there's a way to put both people over, even if there is a
Right.
loser and a winner.
Right. I think that's really. I mean, but then again, with that the mysteriousness, it just kills me when the Fiend has a match and it's just pumped up, and then all of a sudden it's just the match is over with, and then it's just gone. But it's like he just waits for that perfect time, and it's all whether or not the story is done, if he's done with them or not, and if they have officially let him in. We might not know it, but um,
But he so Strowman
just
let Bray Wyatt in, the Funhouse Bray Wyatt. He let him
right,
in,
right,
and nothing happened. So like, so is this? Well, I don't even know if they're furthering. Well, I guess they are furthering that feud, but it's like they're taking their sweet ass time with it too, which is like, okay, well, I don't want to forget about the Fiend. Like the Fiend,
right.
man,
And
you
again,
got to show him a little bit.
you go back to him having his child and all that.
Yeah.
That's where the Miz and Morrison got involved, and now they're out the window. Like there's no more Miz Morrison and the Strowman now. Like Wyatt's back, so
I
well,
gotta say that music video though,
I
that was some of the greatest shit I've seen from WWE in a while, man.
love it. I love them. I don't think they were on. I don't
They
remember.
had the whole music video. They put it up on YouTube. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
sent you the link, man. I was jamming out to that shit. I'm like, well, this is sketchy, man.
Oh, it's great. That's great.
But yeah, that was like I like that whole little Miz Morrison versus Strowman feud. Like that was great.
It
That
was
was
quick.
fun.
It was quick. It was fun, and you knew it wasn't. They weren't going to win the championships. So it was just it was a whatever. It was a nice just something to get by to the next spot, and uh, and it gave Miz Morrison plenty of TV time as well, while they weren't feuding with anybody.
Well, they're good like annoying guys, but they're like bad guys, but they're fun. Like I
Right,
I don't cheer against them per se.
right,
Like I enjoy their characters, man. I think that there's a big disparaging difference in looks though.
right.
'Cause the Miz looks like he barely lifts, and John Morrison looks like he lifts too much. If there's such thing, but it's like wow. But I think they're a great team, man. I think they're a great team, and I think they're funny, and I think that's there's place for that. I
Yeah,
enjoy them.
yeah.
I enjoy them. But I also I want like I know you got some notes there, or you've been paying attention. I just want to talk about one of my most favorite wrestlers on the WWE roster right now. Looks like she has an injury.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep. She should be having surgery coming up. Yep, Miss Charlotte Flair. Um, yeah,
It was disappointing to hear, but man, like I tell you what, like I think that's I have to say that's my favorite wrestler on the roster
right.
next
And
to the Fiend.
she went out. She went out, and if this was the last time that we see her for a bit, she went out with a bang. Um, she
Yeah, what does
she
her
raised.
boyfriend have to say about that? Bad joke, bad joke, bad joke.
Do you know
Now
do,
is
do you know her boyfriend?
no, I don't.
Oh, Mr. Andrade.
Really?
Yep, yep. Yep. Him and
Oh wow,
her together. Yeah. Yep.
good for
Everyone
him.
would assume Zelina, but Zelina is actually with Aleister Black. Um, yeah.
Wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, no,
These
it's
are
a
the things like I don't know how much of the backstage stuff do I want to know? Like
right. I just
like
think it's
how
interesting.
that's
I just
funny
think
though.
like Andrade and Charlotte Flair. It's just funny. Sometimes seeing them together and it's like, oh, it's weird. But but no. I think
Can you imagine that team if they teamed up together? It'd be like good, like what would be like cockier and cockiest or something.
I would love it. Yeah, it was just her character was different. Her character was more face a little bit as Raw went on this last week. She was getting interviewed about her injury, and she played it off like the injury, it's real, which it is. So it just kind of played into that of like, I'm still gonna go out here and fight even though I'm really injured, but she wasn't cocky because she did have uh, a really bad injury, and it kind of like was like reality that she wasn't gonna win. So she kind of like accepted it and was like, well, I'll make the best out of what I can. And then Nia Jax she like annihilates her, and that lifts Nia Jax up, so that she could take on Asuka, um, and then that feud can happen.
So that
So
she can hurt more people.
right. So I mean, so with Charlotte going out for a while, she did do a great job of, all right, guys, here you go. Like I'll be gone for a while, but I kind of set you up for success for the next, couple
Yeah, I mean it
months.
doesn't it doesn't even if she gets squashed, man, it still doesn't matter.
Yep,
It's just
yep,
just the
no.
way she carries herself, man. It's
And
like
I mean, who knows when this injury happened? If it's
it
been
was like
known for,
Ric Flair.
um, and that's why. I mean, maybe that not why she lost the NXT title, but maybe a reason. I still, um, Io Shirai still deserved it in my mind. But perhaps that was one reason that Charlotte did lose it. Um, and then it kind of like her going all over brands, but feuding with Asuka, and then finally just raising up Nia Jax. Maybe this was an injury. Maybe this was a surgery that was known for a while. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, she'll be gone for a bit, and when she comes back, she'll be right back at the top, and uh, yeah, you'll be happy when she comes back.
Hey man, you know what? She like her characters is great.
Yeah,
Like
I
she
just hope I just hope the women's division can make you happy enough until she returns.
oh
So
I don't know. Well, yeah, sure. Like I like Rhea Ripley too. I mean, even though she's on NXT, like she's good. Asuka's pretty good. She
yeah,
gets a little spazzy on me. Like, but she's genuine, which is nice.
right,
Um,
right.
and then
Scared.
Nia Jax, of course, just she can legit hurt somebody. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And
it's just like when you put her with like a tiny girl, it's just I can't buy it. Like unless she just destroys them.
right, and that's my problem with AEW's women division is that they had this huge, like not as big as Nia Jax, but way bigger than the rest of the women's division, and all these bigger girls, and then but their champion was like 125-pound uh, little girl, and like she was their champion for months. But I'm like, that's just not realistic. And now things have changed a little bit. I haven't watched AEW in the last couple of weeks, so I don't really know too much of current events on them. But yeah, their
Well, I
women's
lost
division.
you there. for a second, but we didn't really miss much. I got the idea.
Oh. Uh,
125-pound girl looking realistic against the 200-pound girl just doesn't really
yeah.
cut it. Doesn't it? Just it's like after a while you're like, okay, I can't. You know, I've been kind of. I haven't really been watching too much of it, but I watched a little bit of Lucha Underground.
Okay.
I don't know if have you watched any of that?
I watched a little bit back, like in the earlier days of it. I wasn't a real big fan of it, because a lot of it is theatrical. It reminds me of like when they had the little like Saturday morning Mortal Kombat, uh, like fighting game show kind of thing. That's kind of what it kind of reminded me of. So I wasn't really big in it. I do want to kind of go back and watch it. But yeah, no, I wasn't really big on it.
Well, what got me a lot from Lucha Underground was their presentation. Like it looks totally different. It's like shot like it's darker. You know,
Right.
it's got texture to it, and like there's all these like superhero looking luchas flying around. But I was just like, this is a great presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as like filming it, like it's like it might be even shot on some sort of a film camera or just the way it's lit. It's been like I was pleasantly surprised by it, to be honest with you. I was like, wow, hey, I gotta check this out a little more.
Right, and like that's where like I go back. Like it goes almost like a studio production kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like back when like when Nitro was at Universal Studios or whatever it was, kind of that effect. I mean, but just more theatrical. Like they actually had a scenery, and it was like in a like, underground warehouse kind of deal. Um, and the fans were all grungy and just
There was smoke,
ready to
cigarette
riot.
smoke.
Right, right.
I mean, there's something about that, about that.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Something to be
Um,
said about that kind of, like
like I said,
I
it's
personally
been
like that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's just been years since I last saw any of Lucha Ground uh, or Lucha Underground, but I do want to look back in on it and maybe see what's going on the last couple years, because I mean I know a lot of the wrestlers that have come from there, so it'd be kind of nice to look at it, maybe do a little research as far as just watching some of it.
Yeah, I was just trying to see something other than WWE because, like, at this point, I'm getting fatigued by them, and that's why I stopped watching Raw and SmackDown for a little bit because I'm like, it's the same stuff, though. Now what you're saying, like, things are changing a little bit, which is exciting again
Right.
because there for a while, man, I was a little bit I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like, I'm starting to feel like either I'm getting old, Big D. Uh, I find myself talking about like the stuff I watched when I was younger.
Hmm.
It's like I don't know if it's uh, what the new generations are into. I'm definitely starting to feel like they're pulling away from me. I used to that's all I've been. I've been the younger generation my whole life, and they're starting to pull away
Right.
from me. And I feel like one of those grumpy old men. Like you remember that South Park episode where like they were listening, it's like just farts.
Right. Right.
That's
Okay.
what
Yes.
like I'm like, oh no, like so I'm like, well, I'm like I'm trying to look at it from okay, so what am I seeing here, and how are they seeing it, and um yeah, I just I feel like I'm pulling away, and I'm wanting to reconnect somehow with the new WWE,
Right.
and
Well,
and and I miss the attitude stuff. I do. I got to be honest with you.
that's just how great. It just proves again and again how great the '90s were. So, but then again, that was freaking 20 years ago, over 20 years ago almost, and
30 years ago, man.
out
Shit.
there like,
Oh my God, it's surreal.
well, like 5 years old when in 1990, and 15 in 2000. So it's just like, and now we're like 35, 36, whatever, almost 40. Oh God, yeah. So, but no, I totally get it. And like society's different.
It is.
Just
It's
every,
totally different. Like it's a lot more. It's softer. No,
yeah, yeah.
to say it politely, because like who were the superstars like in the late '90s, early 2000s? Like who were the people that were on the top of the wrestling world? Like you had The Rock, who was arguably one of the biggest bullies. And he talked shit to everybody. I mean, this guy was just like he put everybody down. It doesn't matter if it's Mae Young, if you're a 120-pound schoolgirl, he'll put your ass down. Like I
Uh-huh.
don't think The Rock's shit talk can be tolerated in today's day and age.
Right,
Like I
right.
don't think Stone Cold Steve Austin could come out and talk about the son of a bitch, and then open up a can of whoop ass.
No, they can't even. They can hardly even say those words anymore. Like, yeah. Uh, but
But
yeah, like, well, yeah. If they weren't already known, like they're like fresh out, and those
yeah,
characters came out. I mean, I think maybe, um, someone again. I think it's this day and age. What really pops is like that horror, those horror kind of messed up. Like Mankind would succeed, Undertaker, Kane. Like if they were fresh out of the box and came out tomorrow night or whatever, they would pop. Like they'd be able to succeed. Um,
yeah, because they're like one step removed from real life. It's like
right,
Kane,
right.
they were like these larger than life characters, right?
Yeah,
And like Drew McIntyre is, unfortunately, he's Drew McIntyre.
right,
He
right.
need like he can't say a whole bunch of shit because
No,
it's too
no,
close to real life, no.
yeah, no, it's true.
Um, but that's why like I was just like I'm hoping for the Fiend. I'm like, come on, please don't fuck up the Fiend. I feel like that's like just one character there that's so fucking cool.
Right, right.
Don't fuck it up.
No, and yeah, I'm, I'm ecstatic. I'm looking. That's all. You know me. And that's all I'm always looking forward to. But now it's like finally happening, and it's like, all right. Now it's like I want them back like every week, uh, and it may happen. And you may have a fun. You're gonna have something every week, though. I think as far as reamping up that feud, for sure.
But yeah, I
Whether
mean, it's gonna be interesting watching how WWE progresses now with the coronavirus, especially when they had so many cases.
right,
That's
yeah,
gonna be
and,
interesting because
and
if
who knows, it might impact the whole world again, like it did. Uh, Because I know a lot of places are like, oh man, we opened up too soon. Now, like everybody's getting sick again and all this and that. And New
yeah, I mean,
York,
we're down here in Florida and it's been like, hey, that's the next epicenter. And like people are like just a week ago, man, you would go out to stores and nobody's wearing anything, and not that I'm the one to tell people to wear a mask, but it's
right?
like all of a sudden a week later everybody's wearing a fucking mask. Like everyone's like, okay, okay. Now we taking it seriously now, but there was a lot of it was very nonchalant, and
Right. Yeah.
like I understand people are like, yeah, don't tell me what to do. Like I get it. I get that part too, you know.
It's
But the
country.
cases are rising, and what are we gonna do? We're gonna close up again. We're gonna close up shop again.
Right. Right.
I don't think that's gonna go as well as we plan.
No, I don't think so. Um,
So I don't know how that's gonna impact wrestling. I mean, I have an inkling. I don't want it to. But it's been impacting wrestling as is. Just the availability of certain roster, and now that's happening even more.
yep, yep. So hopefully, I mean, if they can learn from it and sustain it, and then just even if they keep doing what they're doing now, um, I'd be okay with that. Um, but if it goes back to like what it was, that'd be a huge setback. Um, and yeah, I mean, that might be the death. That might be the death of that, and then we'll have to wait for something else to come up, and yeah, who
I
knows?
mean, would you be? Well, that's another thing. Like for me, I'm like I wouldn't be opposed to them running some shit like Monday Night Wars or running like pay-per-views like Fox is doing. I wouldn't be opposed to them running that, but then again, it's like it's a different climate for wrestling. It's like
Right.
I I don't know if the today's generation is going to appreciate
Mm-hmm.
all the wrestling.
One thing I realized a couple months ago, actually, when wrestling days um, started doing uh, pay-per-view watch-alongs as far as like old pay-per-views, and they would he would put like a poll on. He would get what pay-per-views people wanted to watch in the chat. You put a poll up on Twitter or whatever, they would vote for it, and they would watch it. And one of the first ones was ECW's Extreme Rules back in '97.
Hmm.
So now you're talking it's 2020. That was 23 years ago. Probably the dominant age of YouTube viewers is in the mid-teens. Like these kids are watching it, so they have no idea what ECW was or anything like that. They may have heard what it was or something, but they probably aren't going in the WWE network and looking it up. They're probably just going on there watching the current stuff, Roman Reigns, whatnot. So when they were doing ECW Extreme Rules, like they're swearing, there's cigarettes, there's beer, there's blood. There goes my parents' landline. Um, but but yeah, it was just like their reaction, but the reaction was good. Like they did appreciate it. Um, and I mean, if they can do that, or if they're forced to do that, or something in the future, um, I don't know. It's tough because would I view? I mean, I might turn it on. I don't know if I would necessarily watch it per se. I might not. I might not even do anything, just because.
You know
Uh,
what happened?
right, and I could, so I could just, I can just watch this on the network. Like it's
But
nothing
that's
new.
the yeah. I think the coolest thing about what WWE did was buy up all the footage. Really,
Right.
that's what they bought
Yeah.
when they bought WCW.
Yep.
And
Yep.
WCW had a good run, man. They had a couple of years. I mean, even older WCW was fun. But they
I
had
mean,
some like
what?
really
Like,
high years there, like 90, 98, 99,
oh yeah, yeah,
97.
yep. Um, but I just visioned it as far as I think the way that you're like having a weekly, you know, Monday Nitro or whatever, have it be like a weekly, and then you go from the first episode on. That might be something that would work. Now that I think about it that way, um, or even Monday Night Raw, having the first Monday Night Raw. I mean, you'd have to have 3 weeks at a time because it would still have to be 3 hours long. So,
It's that's
but
a lot. 3 hours is a
But
lot for
if
wrestling.
they could do that and then still have still get airtime for like a Sunday and have like the pay per view. Like, man, we might have a pay per view every other week. But yeah, no, 3 hours is so long for wrestling. I get it. That's why
And
I
we
don't.
talk about 3 hours, but our podcast run 3 hours.
Right. Well, that's what we're constantly.
Yapping. We're talking.
I mean, even SmackDown, 2 hours of SmackDown, depending on like the card, even the 2 hours can be pretty long. I might be dozing off the last half hour, 45 minutes, and unless I know that unless I know like the Funhouse is on, and then they wait till the last 5 minutes to put the Funhouse on, I'm watching the whole episode. So.
That's what Backlash pay-per-view kind of felt like. It was like, yeah, we have
Right.
Orton and Edge, but you got to watch the rest of this.
Yeah, because you just don't know. But yeah, no, that's actually how this last SmackDown did kind of go for me a little bit. Besides the Matt Riddle match, I'm not sure what else happened on. Oh, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Cesaro finally getting pissed off of the way that he's been being treated. I really hope this goes somewhere. As much as I don't want it to be with a tag team with Shinsuke because they're main roster, top of the line wrestlers by themselves. And they might have to be a tag team coming up and perhaps go for the titles and stuff like that. But I do like that. Hopefully, they're getting more involved in something that's not stupid, and they're not losing all the time. I forgot that happened, but yeah, Cesaro finally getting angry and actually saying out loud, after 10 years of this, and this is how I'm being treated. It almost feels like, all right,
Sure.
we got to do something. We got to do something with this guy, or else he's leaving. Like you get that emotion, that realness, and that's what a lot of these guys don't have is that you're not connected to them with emotions. So when it comes out like that, it's cool.
Well, you know where I stand on Cesaro, man. I think
Oh yeah.
Cesaro could be like, and maybe that's why they put him in this situation, huh? Just to get him to get so fucking angry to the point where he's just sincere and he's just acting out.
Right. I mean, he still has never had the heavyweight championship. He's had the U.S. and tag team championships. I don't think he's had the Intercontinental. And he
Well,
wasn't.
because when he was with Zab Coulter, right?
No,
Wasn't he?
no.
Wasn't he Intercontinental champion then? Because he was that's when he was Italian back in the day.
But he was U.S.
U.S. champion,
Yeah, yeah,
which Intercontinental would make more sense.
exactly.
Okay, let's not even get started on the titles. Like what the fuck?
Right.
We need less titles.
But yeah, it was like that was kind of like I kind of missed the beginning of Cesaro. I kind of missed that little era. Same thing with Big E when Big E first started as Ziggler's bodyguard and like that little small area of wrestling. I was away from. I don't know why. I don't remember why. But yeah. So when I came back, he was just lost it or was just finishing being champ. But yeah. He
Well,
just
I think Cesaro keeps trying, like we're doing whatever,
yeah.
whatever they tell him to do, and
Right, and he's still there, which shows a lot of this guy. He obviously cares. Otherwise, he could just be like, "I'm out. I'll go somewhere else where I'm appreciated." Like there must be something there that's keeping him. And obviously, there's reasons why they're keeping him as well, but they really got to work on getting him to be, get out of that low card, mid card, and get them in the the top matches of every pay per view, main eventing Raw or SmackDown, whatever. Getting into really good storylines. Um, Again, I'd rather see him do it on his own and not with Shinsuke. But with his little burst, I can't remember what he said what they were, but it seemed like it was like a tag team name that they came up with. When he was when he was with partners with Sheamus, that was with the Bar. That was an awesome tag team, and then Sheamus got hurt, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And now he's going after Jeff Hardy.
yep. I mean, and then they're still on the same brand, so maybe potentially something could happen. But I don't foresee them getting back together. Trying to think.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that Cesaro, like, listen, he speaks a bunch of different languages. I think they said he speaks like 5 languages. And I just wondered, like, why not just let him speak in a different language and have subtitles? Like, why is that a problem?
I
Like,
would love that.
that would make him a good heel. Like, or he might even make him a good face. Like, why not?
Right. That's genius right there. I would love them to have a wrestler that specifically had subtitles.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again,
It's like it's all asterisks. You can't translate any of it.
it's almost like NWA's the question mark. Um, he's from Monrovia, which isn't a real place, but
No.
he has his own language, um, and that's actually a pretty decent character. I gotta start watching NWA again too. But which AEW is they just called up someone from NWA a couple weeks ago, and they still have that connection, obviously. But
Well, it was good to see Colt Cabana in AWA.
yeah, yeah. And
Go ahead.
I don't think he's wrestled since. At least but again, I haven't been watching since. I think I watched one episode since their last pay per view. Yeah, I think it's been almost a month now. I haven't watched any of it. Um,
See, in Denver, we have this. There's like this pretty genius, and this is my shout out to them as a pretty genius. Uh, what would you call it? A wrestling company, I guess. A promotion. It's called Lucha Libre and Laughs.
okay.
Have I told you about them at all?
No, I don't think so.
It's really like a lot of the wrestling is hokey. It's really high spots and people, like 25 pound, kids just jumping around on each other. But every once in a while there's some good talent in there too. But what they do is they do a match, and this is just local, but they do a match and then they have a stand-up comedian. So they do like a 5-minute set in between matches, and then they
Okay.
have another match, and so they go like that. And so you have your main event comedian and main event, wrestling match. And Colt Cabana came through. He wrestled there, and this was like not too long after the CM Punk podcast.
Okay.
I don't know if you listened to that one.
No.
When CM Punk basically buried WWE like big time, and their doctors and how they treated him when he had
Okay.
infections. But I thought it was a great idea. First, like, I guess what I'm trying to make a point. It was like wrestling, stand-up comedy. But the announcers too were stand-up comics.
Okay.
So they were the ones like, and I was listening to these guys and I was like, they're so much better than WWE like announcers. Although I was actually surprised by Samoa Joe. I was actually like I thought Samoa Joe was like, hey, this dude, I'm really digging Samoa Joe as an announcer, like even
Right.
more than a wrestler at WWE.
Right. Yeah. I think
So I
that's
was
what
like,
they, as far as commentating, get more wrestlers involved. That's where I feel like Corey Graves used to be really good, and then he got mixed up with Michael Cole too long, and uh, kind of just messed that up. So,
well,
um,
well, dude, like I first for a long time during Backlash, I thought it was Michael Cole doing the announcing, but it wasn't all Michael Cole. It was someone else. It was another like they sound exactly the same. Like it's
it
like Michael Cole brought this guy up.
might have been Byron Saxton maybe, or Todd Phillips. Todd,
Probably Todd Phillips.
right? Todd
Uh,
Phillips.
but I tell you what, Michael Cole's a great heel.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, Michael Cole's a beautiful heel. Like
Yep.
I want to see everybody and anybody kick his ass.
Oh yeah, that's crazy that he was more of a heel than Larry or Jerry the King
Gary the
Lawler.
King. Yeah. Well, what was that WrestleMania? What? 33? No.
I think it was 27 or six. It was in one of those lost WrestleManias where they had that bad stretch of WrestleManias. It might have been the Cena Rock uh,
Oh, where the Rock.
first time ever match or whatever, and then they had the same match the next year.
No, that was a fun exchange though. Cena and the Rock,
Yeah,
Fruity Pebbles. That was fun.
yeah. No, I was just looking up this Lucha Libre and laughs. That's funny.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's a great show. It's fun. I mean, it's not a like as far as talent, like there's a couple of really good wrestlers, but there's a guy in there is like this guy's like over like obese, incredibly obese. He's not a wrestler, but like he doesn't even wrestle. All he does is he brings a bag of candy and he just throws it at the audience, and that's his thing. And the people pop. They're like, they want the
Okay.
candy. And he just
Right.
runs people over, and that's it. But I just thought it was a good idea to mix up a little bit of stand up and wrestling.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's a good concept though. So
Yeah.
that's kind of something like almost like ECW could have done, if it wasn't uh
So
like
extreme.
yeah, like something like where you have these crazy matches and then yeah, and it's just like a smoke lounge kind of thing, and you start off with a comedy show and then all of a sudden you got these wrestlers coming out, um, kind of like how the midget wrestling was that I went to a couple years ago. I don't know if I ever told you about that, but yeah, that was fun. Um, there was like five of them, but they put on a freaking 2.5, 3 hour show.
There was only 5 wrestlers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was four males and then a female. Uh,
What's the
yeah,
politically correct term now? Small people, little people.
uh, uh, little people, I guess.
I mean,
No,
it used to be when we were watching it, and this is not. We're not trying to be insensitive, but this is what it like. This is like just what it was called back then, which was midget
right,
wrestling.
right, right.
Not saying it's the right way to call it
But
that. It's just
that's how they promote it. So,
yeah.
uh, I mean, the only
Those are
midgets.
like.
But
So tell me, how was it? Did you enjoy it?
oh, I enjoyed it. It was and it was fun. They did decent matches. But I think the best part was when one of them we it was like intermission and we're outside and one ran up and climbed up and sat on my shoulders. thank God, thank God it was the girl
Oh,
referee.
yeah.
She was a little bit taller than the others. Um, but yeah, just because being 7 foot and standing out like that.
I was gonna
Um,
say, I can only imagine. Like, you gotta understand this. Whoever is listening to this, Big D, 7 feet tall. He's a big guy.
yeah,
He's super
yeah.
tall.
I just
And you,
got weighed. I just weighed in last week at 478 pounds. Oh my goodness.
damn,
Yeah, I don't know why, but
you don't know why.
I
What
don't.
is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because I mean, at
Well,
7 feet tall, that's
yeah, but I'm gaining. Well, I'm gaining. I'm gaining. I'm trying to lose, but
this
well,
quarantine, man. I'm a skinny dude. I don't eat much, and I'm starting to get rolls. I got rolls going. You know, like this quarantine is like, how is this happening? You know, we're not moving much. You're just
right,
eating,
right,
drinking. You know,
yep,
it's like
yep,
it's an interesting time to be alive for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
have you ever
I know,
watched wrestling without an audience? Yes, I have.
you know,
Did you pay for WrestleMania without an audience? Yes, I did.
yes, yes. Would I again? Yes, yes,
I think it's worth it. I think WWE Network is worth it just for um the vault, like
both.
yeah,
This is good.
the library.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's just like even now, like I'm at my parents, and they still have the geez, I don't know how many of the VHS cassette drawers.
Oh my God.
And like, of course, there's just like there's one with like all the Disney movies and all this, but then there's like a solid 10, 12 that are devoted to just wrestling, like
That is
because that's
cool.
what we did. Like we have, and it's like we have the entire WWE Network vault all on because like VHS. Um, and it's just
Wow,
like
you guys
looking at them.
recorded them?
Yeah, me and my dad. We record, and so there would be like three or four, whatever would fill up the 6 or 8 hours, whichever type of cassette it was.
And you recorded on LP, huh?
Yep.
Because you could fit twice the amount of footage, right? It's like,
We
if I
would have
remember.
we would have two VCRs. And it was just like a whole setup we would have because what would happen was for like pay-per-views, my dad had a hookup where the guy had a satellite. So he would record the pay-per-view. My dad would go to work Monday morning. He would pick up the tape. We would come home and we would watch it. And as it's playing in one VCR, we'd be recording it on the other VCR. And then he would take the tape and give the tape back, and then he would just record over it. Because the other guy, he wasn't a wrestling fan at all. He just did a favor for my dad, for me, like kind of thing. And then we would watch that. Um, or we even recorded at the same. I don't know if we were recording at the same time because we would end up recording Monday Night Raw. So I think we might have just watched it and then record Monday Night Raw on the TV as we're watching. It was just somehow we ended up with every single Monday Night Raw, Monday Nitro, um, pay-per-views, Sunday Night Heats, um, Saturday Extravaganza, like all the just everything. And yeah, it was just crazy. And
Yeah, that
yeah,
sounds fun, man.
it's pretty much my childhood, and like that's the reason I was into it, and I was fortunate that my parents were into it, and my dad stuck into it enough for me. So I know, like, I mean, even even during the DX and the Flash and the puppies, my dad was still taking me to the Monday Night Raws and stuff, and that was awkward because like I was at that age where I'm like, yeah, puppies, but then I'm like next to my dad, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble, kind of thing, like like oh, here comes Stacy Keebler, ready to come to a strip show, and I'm just like, oh man, oh, I watch this with my dad, that's weird. But it wasn't too much after that he kind of got lost into it, and then um, but yeah, no, it was just the whole VHS recording, and I carried that on into college. That's how I watched Raw and stuff because I was out partying
Yeah,
and stuff. But
just
I would set my TV to record, certain times, and I was off partying, and then I would come home and watch Monday Night Raw at 4 or 5 in the morning.
oh, you see WWE, like there were no illegal recordings made.
Exactly. Exactly.
These were all copies of copies we purchased. We somebody had to pay for it.
I still have some of those too, like the ones that they actually bought that had like the cover and everything on it, and most of those ones are WCW that we have. Um, but yeah.
Man, okay, so this is like I'm just realizing that I'm getting older. Because I'm about to tell you that I used to go to Blockbuster
Uh-huh.
and they would have a wrestling section
Yep.
and I would rent pay-per-views and I would just get it would be Slim Jims and like just like deli meats. And I would
Uh-huh.
just cut that shit up with bread and soda. And I
Yep.
would just sit there, like, and I would watch, like, I was watching, like, the Bret Hart, like, Shawn Michaels, like, Sting. I remember Sting. Like, I watched some WCW pay-per-views. Like, I would try, like, all the stuff that I would read about were, like, really popular matches and things, like King of the Ring '98. Like, that thing was always checked out at my Blockbuster. So I finally, like, you can tell them, like, okay, I want to save it for this day. Like, if it comes in, like, would you hold it?
Right.
And finally, one day they had it. And you know, King of the Ring '98, man, that
Okay.
thing was
Yep.
life changing.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
like, just, I mean, like, nobody talks about the Kane and Austin match after Mankind and the Undertaker. And god damn it, that match. Like so like within first like what 20 seconds of the match, here comes Mankind, just flies off the top
Yep.
of the Hell in a Cell through a table, and
Yep.
everyone's just sitting there looking like we know this is fake, but god damn, like
Yeah.
this doesn't
Yep.
look right. Like he just flew
Yep.
like 20-25 feet.
But
Oh,
it's just funny how he got on the stretcher and then how quick he came back.
but he came back, and then he gets choke slammed through the cage.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then like and you're like, okay, this is like all right, even if it like even if the ring is set differently, which it isn't, like, okay, this is enough, like, and then he pours thumbtacks, and the
yeah.
Undertaker, the first choke slam the Undertaker gives him after he pours thumbtacks down, misses
Yes.
completely. He barely gets him on the edge, so he choke slams him again, or he throws him into the thumbtacks again.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're like, what is that white thing in his nose?
Yeah. It's his tooth.
It's his
It's his
fucking
tooth.
tooth.
How many people do you know that have ever lost their tooth and it got stuck in their nose? You
Oh
know.
my god.
Okay. You know what? And I guarantee it was all Mick Foley. It was all Mick Foley saying, "No, we got to do that again. Just do it. Just
And
do
he
it."
came back. He interfered with the Kane match.
Yep.
Kane
Yep.
and Austin match. That was weird. Like, where the like it
Yeah.
was brutal, dude. After that match, you had to take a break. You had to take a couple of days off just to like reflect.
Luckily, he already walked with a limp, so he's been, he could come out the next night and be just fine. Just be just wrapped up in bandages and stuff. That's all. But he had the walk
No,
down. Um, but
but that's like if you want to sum up the Attitude Era, man,
yeah,
that
yeah,
is like those guys, those wrestlers are tough as fuck,
yeah,
and they were bleeding. They were throwing each other through all kinds of shit. I mean, it was a not to say that wrestlers today are not tough, because I think the wrestler hasn't really changed that much outside of like the way it's done. Like it's a little more theatrical now.
Right.
But damn, man, it's like just listening to those guys and podcasts and listening to their stories and like their work ethic and like Austin had, so for that match in King of the Ring, Austin had a staph infection in his elbow.
Hmm.
And he was in the hospital like 3 days before with IVs and fevers and all this shit. And this motherfucker showed up for the main event, like just bandaged up.
Yeah. Well, if you ain't there, you ain't getting paid. Like, that was
But
like
that was a different time, you know?
right. Yep.
And it's like,
Yep.
I
I
look
think
at
that's
that.
why there was so much risks taken and everything
Well, it's
like that.
built it to
Because
where it is today. It's built it to where it is today. Even today, like you could say, it could even coast.
it's almost like that. People in the past, they did all this stuff to make life easier for us in the future, kind of thing.
Yeah.
These guys did what they did and paved the path for these guys to just wistfully walk down. But eventually, that road hopefully gets rough again, and you can
I mean,
get
that's like that wave, you know, like life
right.
goes up, life goes down, life goes up,
Yeah,
life goes down,
this is the this
and
is just
after
a
a
long.
while, you have an orgasm.
It's just a long down. It's just a long down for WWE right now, and uh, maybe that's because Vince McMahon can't get it up. Um, so
Oh no, oh no. You know, like
maybe
I
it's time.
forget where I was listening to. Like I was listening to some podcast. I don't know if it was Cornette or if it was Russo or whatever.
Mm,
Um, I love listening to those guys. Like I just like I like their like little pointers that they have as far as like writing the shows and what sells and what doesn't sell and like what gets the ratings and what doesn't get the ratings. Um, but shit, what was I talking about like 2 seconds ago?
Vince McMahon getting it up.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're saying like, what if I think this was actually Vince Russo, which like a lot of people don't like, and I
Mm,
can see why, but still, like I think the dude's got some legit points too, which probably is not gonna give us much cred if anyone listens to this. Like this dude's fucking saying Vince Russo, but like I like some things that Vince Russo did,
for
you
those who
know?
have stuck around,
Uh-huh.
for those who have stuck around,
Yes, yes. Um, But he was talking about Vince McMahon because he got hit with chairs a lot, especially by Austin.
hmm
And what if Vince McMahon's suffering from like CTEs,
yeah, right,
and he would be the last person to put that over. Because
right,
if I'm listening to the stories of what people say of Vince McMahon, he doesn't put illness over.
right,
Like he
right.
doesn't let people sneeze around him. He doesn't sneeze. That's like a sign of
Exactly.
weakness. I don't know if you ever heard that, which I think it's
Oh
like
yeah.
that man is fascinating to me.
Just a quick little side note. Brody Lee, who was Luke Harper,
Yeah.
now on AEW, uh, there was confrontations that he was mimicking Vince McMahon. He's like this cult leader, Brody Lee is, and he's talking to his minions, whatever I can't remember what they're called. But one sneezes and he just slaps them, get out of the room. And like this whole, yeah, and it happened like 2 weeks in a row where they did this whole sneezing thing, and it really made Brody Lee mad. And it was like, wow, this is Brody Lee like smacking Vince McMahon in the face, kind of stuff. So, but yeah, so that's how I heard about that.
That's funny.
I didn't know about that previously, but yeah,
That's funny, man.
yep.
I can't believe that's just a strange thing to have is like you can't control your sneeze.
Right. It's so hard. But all what I do, I just repeat the word banana,
Yeah, that does it for you.
banana, 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 and it works.
It
And I
works.
because it like
Banana ice cream
it
sandwich.
clears the airwaves when you say it from air going in your mouth and out your nose. That's what I always say to people. But
I
I don't
mean,
know where
sometimes
I
I
don't know where I
sneeze. Is that okay?
yeah, just don't do it near me.
Are you not a sneezer either?
Oh, I don't know. I don't mind it.
Oh,
I sneeze like once every 2 months. It scares me when I sneeze. Like 'cause it just comes out of nowhere. I'm like, and then like immediately I just think, oh, I don't know. I don't remember the last time I sneezed. Like that kind of thing. But
it's a face
yeah.
fart, man.
But sneeze.
Yeah, we're reaching about 2 hours here, man. Is there
Yeah,
anything else we
yeah.
need to cover? We should cover.
Just one little thing about Nicholas, Rey Mysterio's son, has now made an appearance. Um, so we will end up seeing Rey Mysterio's son fighting Rollins at some point. Um, Nicholas has been training for now over a year, quite a little bit over a year now, to get into wrestling shit. I don't know how he's going to be. There's rumors that he's going to come back as Prince Mysterio. So you might potentially see in the future like a tag team stint before Mysterio actually retires between son and father and son tag team championship, which I don't know, last time we saw that. Um, so that's a little thing that's kind of I never really cared for these feuds with Mysterio and Aleister Black and now his son. Um, Again, I kind of been skipping over that, so maybe if I actually watched it, I would get more into the storyline. But I still love Rollins' character. Um, Besides the current like Raw SmackDown, I don't think there was really much more to talk about.
Well, his son, Rey Mysterio's son, that'd be kind of cool. Like father and son tag team. That'd be
Yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah, it would be, and I think there's talks of somehow um, his son turning on him. I don't think they'll do that. But then it's all up to how long Mysterio wants to stick around. Because again, there's like flashbacks of when Nicholas was a kid, and there's things that Mysterio had said to him, and as a kid he said. So it's like there's like storylines that they could build off of and have stories happen. But again, it just depends on how long Mysterio wants to stick around to do those storylines. This last one, Rollins had Nicholas real close to his eye, getting stabbed on the stairs again until Aleister Black and I don't remember who, not Carlito, uh, Carrillo, um, came out and saved the day.
I
So
miss Carlito.
yeah,
Oh.
I spit in the face. But yeah, besides that, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. That's kind of getting that's kind of getting a little bit better. Sonya's with her ruthless aggression. And now we're reaching. But yeah, other than that, tag team match. Bailey and Sasha still retained against the Iconics. Nothing really happened as far as hinting towards breakup yet. I think that's all that's happened on there. And then the biggest news of the week has been the announcement of the retirement of the Undertaker. Um,
Yeah, we didn't even touch that.
Yeah, no, and because it's just
I don't
some,
believe it.
right, right. Um, we were talking about that during his match against AJ Styles. Like, was at the end was AJ Styles, hand out of the dirt, like was that a reference? Was just Taker's emotion during that fight, during that moment when he was just like breathing so heavily and out of breath, and you know,
Yeah, when
seeing
you
that,
realize he was human, which was the
right?
best part of that whole match, is when AJ got the upper hand, the Undertaker was just looking at him like,
Oh,
oh fuck, like you saw
yeah,
Undertaker human, and you're like, that's beautiful, that's a good way to go. But the rest of the match got a little hokey for me. Like I don't know where people see that match was like this great like match. I mean, maybe in WrestleMania whole card, but like I would be amiss not to mention Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Man, they had a great fucking match.
right.
And I don't know if that Boneyard match was the way Undertaker wanted to go, but I know the Goldberg match sure as fuck wasn't.
Sure, sure. I
And
thought it was just the way that it was announced was a little weird because it was announced on the final episode of the little mini documentary series,
yeah,
the network, which I haven't watched at all. I just,
I've heard about it, but I haven't watched it either.
yeah, I was waiting to watch it all at once, kind of thing, just binge watch it. I might do that. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I don't know. Probably not because I still want to watch NXT. But yeah, I mean, again, was it the way he wanted to go out? No, but do we want the streak to end? No, but he still continued on from that, and he never really got past that. Like, that's something that'll never be forgotten.
The
Um,
streak.
yeah, and just the power of that streak being lost. Yeah, but you can't argue having that streak go as long as it did, and then knowing that it was Undertaker's decision to have Lesnar do it because they are such good friends. Um, so out of respect, that's how he lost, and maybe it was out of respect that I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird to think, all the way back to '91 and all the matches that he's had, and then just have it end like that. I don't know. It's a little weird. And then again, is it true? Is he gonna have? Is he actually gonna be retired, or is he gonna make like one more appearance?
Well, I considering that WWE may need help,
Right.
he
Right.
maybe retire from in-ring stuff. But like they're doing this cinematic shit more and more.
Right.
Like, not that there's anything wrong with cinematic stuff. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I like just last one we saw was a little like okay. Um,
Even the
but
one before that, the NXT pay-per-view in your house with the parking lot match.
oh
Um,
yeah, I skipped through that. I couldn't like it was.
yeah, I mean that was
I
a theatrical, and it really wasn't good. Um, and the best part about that match, I thought, was Dexter Loomis taking the NXT guys and putting them in the trunk of the car and driving away. Uh,
I like the character of Dexter Loomis.
I do too. I do too. Uh,
That dude, like the way he looks at you, you don't have to fuck with a whole lot more.
yeah.
Like this dude looks like he's got some dark shit, that you don't want to fuck with,
And the
you
whole
know.
thing of him painting a picture and like telling you what's going to happen, pretty much, he's painting a picture for you, and then he does what the picture. That's something that I like with the character development. So I do like that character. Um,
I think it was one of the first podcasts we talked where I mentioned Dexter Loomis.
mm,
It's one of the guys that I just thought was like
yeah,
sincere, genuine, I mean, he looks like a fucked up dude. Like,
right. Exactly, because Victoria had a reaction towards him.
she had yeah, yes, yes,
Yep,
yes, but
yep,
she
yep.
also had a reaction towards Sami Zayn.
Yes.
She hated Sami Zayn, and I was like, okay, he's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you get over on somebody who doesn't even watch it, and she hates him, I was like, great.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Like, and that's one thing with heels that I forget sometimes. Is like, you don't like them.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
I loved when Sami Zayn
when he
got
comes
smacked
back,
by Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 36. That was beautiful.
oh, yeah. And when he comes back, uh, I like it when he comes back. Uh, I like Sami Zayn. I like his character. He can be good or bad. But he was like one of those like faces, all-time face guys who you never really saw go heel until Vince McMahon got a hold of him. And yeah, that's what they do. Some people can do it, some people can't. So I mean, but he can do it. Um, so, but yeah,
Well, as far as the Undertaker goes, man,
I was like,
I
just
can see Undertaker just being a staple for the WWE going through like he may show up places and bring people into a grave or something, or start shit. I mean, especially like yeah, because we got onto this tangent because of the cinematic shit.
yep, yep,
So I don't like I don't I'm not sure exactly what he means by retired
right,
because I just don't see it. But I mean, like,
yeah.
my
You
hats
don't
off
see
to Undertaker. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much for everything. Shit, that was.
definitely, yeah, definitely. Thank you for sure.
I mean,
What a long. Well, if it is, and uh, now that the rumors, I mean, it seems to be confirmed that it is. That was one hell of a ride. I mean, through having the same name, same character, but obviously evolving and adjusting to um, just life in general and society, and to still have that pop no matter what. I mean, 20 years from now, we can all of a sudden just have like a doom, and then it's just gonna be like craziness. Like I mean, he'll forever go down as. I mean, he's definitely. You got. We'll talk about this in the future too. Of what do you call it? The statue there with all the heads. Um,
the statue. Mount Rushmore.
all the yeah, do we put Undertaker on the Rushmore of wrestling? I mean, that's that'd be a good episode to talk about. Um, yes, we are still working on some ideas as well for the podcast. I know we're discussing a draft, and then doing like our being the own general managers and just doing a little draft and what you guys would think and yeah, Mount Rushmore. I think we can do that. Yeah,
I'm writing these down right now.
we got a lot of ideas coming up, and having uh, not just discussing Raw and SmackDown, but actual topical, jobbers. Of course, we got to bring in the jobbers. Um, but no, they're definitely picking up traction, and we're coming out here with a lot of different content. Whether it's watching old pay-per-views, definitely still be doing the new current pay-per-views, staying up in the current. But yeah, I
I'm
mean, there's a
writing I'm
lot of
writing those down so I
there's a
don't
lot there's a
forget.
lot of things that we can do, and we'll be working on it for you guys.
The
And again,
draft sounds fun. But I one thing that needs to be understood is that I'm gonna be doing this from like an attitude era. Like I'm drafting people now, but like maybe we can
right,
book them and talk about like how you would use them. But draft. And I might not draft everybody, but it it doesn't matter. Like, does it matter if they're hurt or not?
I don't know. No, because they're still under contract.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would just hire everybody. I would draft everybody that's hurt and have them cut promos. There's no matches, no matches, just promos, just cinematic matches.
But except for you'll have Dan O'Brien and Drew Gulak on your roster.
They'll wrestle. They'll be in the ring for 2 hours. They'll do like they'll do an Iron Man match for 2 hours every Monday night.
We'll cut to a promo every 15 minutes.
That's right, yeah. As they're wrestling. And with points too. We're doing the point wrestling, like and no, like you count pins and all that. Yeah, the Iron Man match.
I mean, you can do a lot of things with it. But, and one thing I always wanted to do, I really wish they had. I mean, they have something similar that I found online. But like
Well, hold
wrestling.
on. Let's cut it off here, and
Yes.
then we can talk about
Yeah.
this. But yeah, I'll try to keep it at least 2 and under.
Yeah, I forget that we're recording.
So you want to take us out?
Sure. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Jobber Report. Big Dan, we got Max Jaw. Make sure you tap that like button, tap that subscribe, share it out, set your notifications so you know when we release our next content. And yeah, this has been the Jobber Report. Later, guys.